Hello and welcome to 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce and it's time for a little NBA basketball. Wednesday in the NBA. It'll be the Sacramento Kings facing off against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tip-off just around the corner. Let's get to Kevin Harlan, who's in Minneapolis.
Greetings, everyone. Kevin Harlan here alongside my partner Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Glad to have you join us. Look now, State Farm presents the starting lineups. First for the Kings, Evans and Thornton in the backcourt. And it's DeMarcus Cousins locking down the middle. They look to him to provide that necessary presence down low. Then it's Salmons, and it's Hickson in at the 4. And then for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Luke Ridnour and Wesley Johnson in the backcourt. And it's Darko Milicic locking down the middle. He's a big part of that presence down low. Then there's Beasley, and it's Love in at the 4 slot.
Well, it was a tough year for the Kings last season, but they do have a nice collection of young talent. When you look at Tyreke Evans, DeMarcus Cousins, Marcus Thornton have made a nice impact as well.
So the Timberwolves win the tip. Moving it around nicely. Johnson kicks to Beasley. Salmons covering. Fade away. Gets the bucket. Beasley's got the scoreboard going with his first points of the night for the Timberwolves. Steve, back to what you mentioned, to have that much talent in Cousins and Tyreke Evans, Clark, you just hope it pans out.
Well, again, I think it will. I mean, you've got two nice pieces to build around. Marcus Thornton is a pretty nice scorer. They've got some other players, Thompson out there. So they've got some guys that can make it happen. It's a matter of them growing and coming together. And when you've got a bunch of young players, it's one of the hardest things to give them the time to ferment and come together. So we'll see what happens.
All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Guys, I had a chance to catch up with the Minnesota Timberwolves head coach. Ball movement is going to be a big part of their offensive game plan tonight, with the reason being limiting their shot blockers. He said if we go straight up on them, they'll turn us away every chance. If we get their bigs moving and playing catch-up, we can get good looks that won't be blocked. That's our goal. Guys?
Wonderful stuff, Doris. Thanks. What approach to use against the opposing D, I guess, in the front of their minds, it sounds like, Clark.
Yeah, well, it's a tall task when you take on a team as sound defensively as they are, so you just have to be sharp in your execution.
Steve?
Yeah, you got to be sharp, but you also have to attack. I mean, if you're not aggressive against this team, they're going to take control of you, and all of a sudden, they'll have control of the game. But, you know, when Tyreke Evans was drafted by the Kings in 2009, they promoted him as the point guard of the future. But I think people are starting to realize he's probably more of a shooting guard because of his scorer's mentality.
Backing down his Cousins. Hangs in the air. Shot is off. And Minnesota the other way now. You know, when you talk about Evans at the shooting guard position, Clark, he's got the size, 6'6", and almost a 7-foot arm span.
No, and he is so strong. And, you know, I think, especially for a player of his age, in certain matchups, he's a guy you can maybe play at the small forward spot, but I think he's got to have the ball in his hand. And he's not a bad playmaker, but his strength is certainly his scoring ability.
What a start it's been for them from the field in this game.
You know what, it's early, but if they can keep shooting at this rate, Steve, they'll run away with this thing.
And there's the pass to Thornton. Goes up on the wing. Yes, and a nice assist from Evans. Thornton's got his first points in this one. Timberwolves leading by 4. It's Beasley on the wing. Salmons covering. Ridnour passes to Beasley. All alone. And again, it's Minnesota converting.
You know, to have somebody as dependable as he is on the offensive end, that's extremely invaluable to this team. Well, guys, the Timberwolves are looking to establish more of a home court advantage. I mean, last season, they narrowly missed having the worst record at home in the NBA at just 12 wins and 29 losses.
Gets it to go.
Smart. He's just using his size advantage to get his shot off.
And a sweet stroke, too, you might add.
So the Timberwolves called their first timeout. Minnesota making some changes. Pekovic comes in for Darko Milicic. And Ellington is subbed in for Wesley Johnson. Then for the Kings, Jason Thompson, who's checked in for Hickson. And it's Garcia in for John Salmons. We've got 1:23 left in the first quarter of the game. It's blocked. The Kings trail by 4. Jumps up. Here's Thompson, and easy 2 points on the layup. Thompson's got his first basket of the night.
He makes the most of his chances on the offensive glass, doesn't he?
Beasley outside. Love. Hits the difficult fadeaway jumper. Love's got his second basket.
And they are just lighting him up from mid-range area.
You know, sometimes we forget about the value of the mid-range or in-between game. This team has made 8 of their last 10 with that shot, the in-between shot.
Thornton for 3. Yes, and a nice assist from Evans. Thornton's got 5. Here's Ridnour. Evans picks him up. Ridnour dishes to Beasley. There's the feed to Love. Rebound by DeMarcus Cousins.
And the defender, the rotation came over, really seemed to bother him, and that threw that shot off.
And he drops in the layup off the glass. He's got 6. Well, it's been a high-scoring competitive game through the first quarter of play. Kings lead by 1.
Well, the thing they tried to establish right away was the presence down low. You look at the points in the paint. I think that's been the difference.
Yeah, and I like the fact, Steve, that they're not settling for the outside shots. I mean, go in there and get what you want. Keep attacking the rim.
Don't go away. Back in just a moment. And off we go. A close game now starting the second quarter. Here's Jeter. And a chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Hey, Kevin. Well, one of the things the Minnesota Timberwolves are focused on is adding shooters to open up the floor. It's a theme that you've seen develop throughout the course of the NBA. As Kurt Rambis said, you have to have three-point threats in the modern NBA. Superstar Kevin Love, we found out that if you don't have shooters, teams can just clog the lane on you. Our three-point shooting has changed our whole identity. With a rebounder like Love, it helps to have perimeter scores. Guys?
Always great to hear from you, Doris.
Funny thing about Kevin Love, I mean, he became one of those three-point threats.
Yeah, that has become a big part of his game now.
And the first one drops.
Well, the Kings really struggled last year no matter where they played, but they did manage to win more games on the road than they did at home. That's kind of an interesting stat.
And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time. Going back to the Kings, they were so bad at home that just to be mediocre on the road would get them more wins.
Yeah, it was really a strange thing to see, Kevin. The Kings struggled so mightily in Sacramento, but I think some of the rumors about whether the team was going to be there, what ownership was thinking, all of that had to play a role in the struggles at home. It once was one of the best buildings and atmospheres in the NBA, and that certainly has not been the case in recent years.
Here's Cousins, and unable to corral the miss, and it goes out of play. Here is Rubio. Passes it to Webster. It's a pick by Love. Jumper off the screen, and the basket by Webster. Webster's got his first bucket of the night.
You look at their scoring. Mid-range jumpers account for 6 of their last 10 points.
Well, defensively, they're doing a nice job of keeping them out of the paint, but you got to give them credit. They're knocking down shots.
So the Kings call timeout. They're first.
Well, the Timberwolves were one of the worst teams in the NBA last year, and playing in that Western Conference is tough. They went just 7-45 against conference foes.
Pekovic checks in for Minnesota. Tolliver comes in for Kevin Love. Sacramento also making some changes. Dixon comes in for DeMarcus Cousins, and Tyreek Evans is subbed in for Eugene Jeter. Here's Salmons. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Rubio gets called for the reach. That's his first foul. Well, for a team like that, Steve, struggling like the Wolves did last season, the Western Conference, not exactly a forgiving place. Clark, that's just amazing. Just 7 wins with 45 losses within their conference.
Yeah, and you've got to start looking at yourself as a player. I mean, you can't make excuses. Everybody on the team has to certainly try to get better. You do look at the talent level and see where you can improve that. Sometimes losing can create friction and finger pointing, but the only way to get better is to hold yourself accountable and take responsibility.
Evans picks him up, feeds it to Webster. There's a screen, dishes it to Rubio. And their work on the board pays off with the second chance points. And the Timberwolves lead by 1. So it's Sacramento now. They trail by 1. Salmons, who's guarded by Johnson. Salmons kicks to Hickson. And the Kings check on 2 more.
Great matchup here. This game has gone back and forth.
Multiple lead changes, just a great game, guys.
And the Timberwolves call time here.
You know, when you think about the Kings finding a way to stay in Sacramento another year, a lot of that credit has to go to the city, their fans, some former players. How about the mayor of Sacramento, former NBA All-Star Kevin Johnson?
And some changes here for the Timberwolves. Michael Beasley, he's checked in for Johnson. And Luke Ridnour is subbed in for Ricky Rubio. And then for Sacramento, Dante Green is checked in for Garcia. Thornton comes in for John Salmons. And it's Eugene Jeter in for Tyreek Evans. Kevin Johnson, you're right, Clark. He was a terrific leader in the NBA. He's been a terrific leader in Northern California. Steve, if there's one guy that can push this through, it's probably KJ.
Yeah, they still need a long-term stadium solution, Kevin, in Sacramento, but give Kevin Johnson credit, and also the Sacramento Kings organization for figuring out a way to keep them in the city for the time being, and let's hope they can find a long-term solution.
And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to Doris Burke for an update. Hi, Doris.
Thank you, Kevin. When Michael Beasley was traded from the Heat to the Timberwolves last year, there were a lot of questions about his maturity. But in Minnesota, he's taken on a more prominent role, saying, quote, "I'm just taking it in stride, still learning a lot about myself from the coaches. I'm just trying to step into that leadership role, do the right thing, and have some fun at the same time." Pretty good approach, guys.
He's a key cog in this young core. Thanks, Doris. Here's Jeter, picks in a screen, and Thompson kicks to Thornton. And another three for Sacramento.
That's now 6 straight points off open threes. Get a hand up, fellas. Pay attention to the scouting report.
Well, you know how quickly things can go south when you start giving up wide open looks to this team.
He feeds it to Webster. Plenty of space. That's good. And it's Ridenour picking up the assist. Ridenour's got 3 assists tonight. Here's Jeter. 59 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. Pass to Thornton. Shot from the wing. And there are the Kings with another bucket.
Yeah, they're finding the open man. Unselfish play. I like it.
Yeah, I love it too. Teamwork in evidence there, right on full display. A big percentage, a high percentage of their basket have come off assists.
Beasley left side. And there are the Timberwolves with another bucket.
I tell you what, you watch this guy put it in the basket, and his scoring ability can just astound you at times.
And here are the Kings now. Al Thornton, 13 points in the game. Here's Jeter. There's Green with the three. Another three for Sacramento.
Fellas, they are heating up from outside now.
Yep, of their last 5 hoops, 3 of them have come from long range.
Here's Beasley. Powers down the dunk.
Boy, looking at that play, I mean, I think he had to be a little confused right there. I mean, the defender had no idea what was happening.
Well, you know, Clark, I don't think it looked like there was great communication on the floor.
You're
Steve,
exactly right.
Steve, what'd you think?
No, I agree with you, Kevin, but a great job offensively to exploit that defense for the easy basket.
And here's Thornton outside. There's the bucket. Good. Thornton's got 16 points.
He looks good, getting it done consistently from deep.
Steve, I know you love the 3-ball, and he's been sharp, kind of like Steve Kerr used to be.
And we'll get it going after this from the Target Center.
And welcome to the HP Halftime Report. I'm Damon Bruce. A great one underway at Target Center. The Sacramento Kings ahead against Minnesota. They're keeping the ball hopping around, racking up those assists. A tremendous first half from Marcus Thornton. His shooting percentage off the charts right now. He's got the magic touch from the field, no question about it. And slugging it out so far, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Excellent bench production, the second string coming in, knocking down the shots. An all-round great effort by Michael Beasley. Shouldn't be a shock to anyone. We've seen him put up big numbers before. Some great basketball in today's game from these two. They've carried the scoring load so far. Thanks so much for joining me at halftime. Now we send you back out to Kevin and the gang.
Welcome back, everybody. The start of the second half getting underway. Both teams battling hard through the first half. Here's Evans, looking for his first bucket of the game.
Well, the Timberwolves are hoping that they've found some answers at the point guard position. The veteran Luke Ridenour really played a steady role for them a year ago, but Johnny Flynn, their top draft pick in 2009, missed almost 30 games and really struggled on the court.
Just 4 to shoot. Open look, and again it's Sacramento converting. Here is Ridenour. Well, for the Timberwolves, the answer to their playmaking needs, a point guard, Steve and Clark, may have arrived in the form of rookie Ricky Rubio, joining the team from Spain.
Well, it's got to be a relief, Kevin, for the Minnesota fans to see the former number 5 pick in the 2009 draft finally in uniform for the Timberwolves. Scoring is still a question mark for him, but his passing, court vision, and flair, all of that is unquestioned.
Evans with it. Got a piece of it. taken away by Ridnour.
And I like the aggressiveness defensively, forcing that mistake.
Ridnour commits the charge. That is his first foul of the game.
Good call there. He got his feet planted. He was definitely set.
Yeah, that's excellent anticipation, Steve. He got out in front and was able to set his feet and take the charge.
Johnson against Horton. And here's Evans. Easy shot, and the jumper is good. Thornton's got 18 points.
What an offensive display he's putting on.
And at this point, Steve, you got to put more pressure on him, bring help, and make him move the ball.
Well, after that great rookie year a couple seasons ago, Marcus Thornton struggled a bit as a sophomore with the Hornets. He was then traded to Sacramento at the deadline and really exploded, scoring a lot of points in the last couple months of the year.
Minnesota calls timeout. Back to Thornton, you have to like his outlook as he was able to fill it up after the trade.
Well, he erupted for 42 points in the game and had multiple 30-plus point games. So not too many guys in the league can do that, Kevin.
No. Ricky Rubio checked in for Minnesota. Here is Rubio. And Love backs in. Shoots in deep. That is good. Love's got 6.
Boy, both teams showing a lot of hustle, Clark.
Steve, especially since halftime. I mean, they're flying around out there, giving up a lot of energy and putting together a pretty good show.
Kicks it out to Evans. Kicks in a screen. Shot clock at 6. Evans' shot is good. Evans has got his first points of the night.
Hot start for this club coming out of halftime. That's 3 in a row now. Well, if you want to talk about why the Timberwolves struggled and why they did last year in particular, defense comes to mind immediately. Their opponents shot 47% from the field and 37% beyond the arc.
Selman's no luck.
All the defender had to do there was just stay close to him, and he did.
Now, here's Rubio. And Love backs in. Here's Johnson. Off the mark there with the three-point shot. Well, the Timberwolves, and here's one for you, Steve, the 4th worst defense in the NBA last season statistically. Clark, clearly plenty of room for improvement.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a physical thing for him, Kevin. Good size and strength on the wings and inside. It's all attitude, mental, disposition. You got to communicate, and it has to be a multiple effort. Everybody's got to be on the same page, committed to playing defense.
Cousins against Beasley. Guarded now by DeMarcus Cousins. This one for 3. And the basket by Johnson. Johnson's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Now a timeout called by Sacramento. Some changes for Minnesota. Pekovic checks in for Milicic. Webster comes in for Michael Beasley. And Luke Ridnour subbed in for Ricky Rubio. Jason Thompson is checked in for Sacramento. Garcia comes in for Marcus Thornton. 1:21 left to play in the third. Now Evans. It's Salmon's on the way. He dishes it to Garcia. Taken away by Ridnour.
Now, part of the reason they are where they are is that they have taken care of the ball for the most part.
From past the arc. And again, Minnesota with the triple. Here's Evans. Cousins with a screen on Ridnour. Evans kicks to Cousins. Back to Evans. 6 on the shot clock. From downtown, that's good. Evans has got 5 points so far.
And a 3 the other way.
Back and forth we go, neither side giving an inch.
Ridnour kicks to Webster. Ridnour with it. Covered by Evans. And there's the rejection. Here's Garcia. Shot from the top of the key. And there are the Kings with another bucket.
It's been a complete game for him, hasn't it?
Yep, I agree with you there. I mean, he's been in the middle of everything going on.
The points coming in bunches as we wrap up the third quarter. It's been a good one. You look at Marcus Thornton, he's really been playing well.
All game long, he's been dialed in from deep, hitting 3 after 3.
And his sharpshooting display should open up the floor in the fourth quarter, as they'll have to try to clamp down on him from outside, and that could open up other lanes.
Kings ahead. They lead by 7. As the fourth quarter gets rolling here, let's check out our Sprite Spark of the Game, presented by Sprite. Hey, Doris.
Hey, Kevin, the spark in this game, the big push by the Kings. A big offensive outburst in the third period is what has them in the lead right now. There's still a lot of work to be done, and anything can happen.
All right, Doris, thank you. That run has made a difference, guys. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what got them off and going.
Now, they were really able to seize the momentum at that point, and they just rode it.
Here's Ridnour. Left side, Randolph. He's covered by Thompson. Nice shot by Randolph.
Terrible defense for both teams, just atrocious.
Yeah, it's been awful, Steve. I don't know any other way to say it, and I'm sure both teams will get an earful from their coaches.
A 10-footer lands off on the front of the rim and drops. And the Kings lead by 7. And here is Ridnour. Back to Randolph. Working on Thompson. Webster passes to Ridnour. The dish to Randolph. Here's Webster. He drains it as the shot clock ticks down.
Just an unbelievable display of offense here today.
Well, it seems like every shot that goes up finds its way to the hoop. I mean, every player is sharp and on target.
Now, here's Thornton. Kicks to Cousins. Shoots from the baseline. Again, Sacramento.
Well, that's been nice, efficient work, guys, that he's been doing. I mean, we haven't seen him take many bad shots, and that's the sign of a mature, poised player.
They set the pick. Here's Randolph, and again, it's Minnesota converting.
I can imagine they're going to hear an earful about this next stop. I mean, that's 3 straight field goals given up right in the middle of the lane. Inexcusable.
Well, defense starts at the rim. I mean, you want teams shooting the ball from the outside, and that's not happening. They're just giving up everything inside.
Moving the ball well. Guarded by Garcia. The dive for the ball. Big group substitution now for Minnesota. Kevin Love's checked in for Milicic. Tolliver comes in for Anthony Randolph. Michael Beasley, he's checked in for Martell Webster. And Wesley Johnson has subbed for Wayne Ellington. And the Kings will go for a different look here. Whiteside's checked in for Cousins. Dixon comes in for Jason Thompson. John Salmons, he's checked in for Dante Green. And Tyreek Evans is subbed in for Francisco Garcia. Salmons kicks to Thornton. On the wing, Evans. He's guarded by Ridnow. 5 on the clock. A 3-ball. A rebound by the Timberwolves. They've trailed by as many as 8 points. Backing them down is Johnson. Here's Beasley. And again, it's Minnesota converting.
Boy, this is a shooting exhibition, guys. I mean, he's not wasting any of his chances.
Timeout called by the Kings. Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Guys, over that last break, I listened to Paul Westphal address his team. He gave his players a little bit of extra motivation, saying, none of us wants to go to sleep tonight knowing we had a chance to win and didn't close it out. We've gotten close. Now let's not let it slip away, guys.
Come on, man.
On the wing, bullseye. Cousins has got 6 in the quarter. Minnesota calls timeout. They're trailing by 5. There's 1:54 left in the fourth quarter. There's 1:54 left in the fourth. Now, here's Ridnow, guarded closely. Love kicks to Milicic. Good look, and there's Love. That's good on the assist for Milicic. 8 points for Love.
Well, they've really picked up the intensity here since halftime.
I think they got the pep talk in both teams now, really going after each other.
Cousins inside, working on Milicic.
Well, neither team has really gained an edge rebounding-wise here, and the score reflects that.
Well, if one team can start hitting the boards harder, I mean, it'll give them a good chance to pull away.
No good from Beasley.
Well, what appeared to be an easy 2 points just never materialized.
Goes up on the block. Timberwolves trailed by 3. Back to Johnson. Evans picks him up. Johnson kicks to Love. Connects! And that shot brings them to within just 1.
And that had to feel good.
Yeah, he exhaled as that one went down.
Less than 1 minute left. Here's Jeter. He kicks it to Cousins. Clock at 4. Sinks it.
He's just so clutch. Here's a guy you want on your side with the game on the line, Kevin.
Now Ridnow. 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. sinks the first one, and that brings them within 2. And that's good as he hits both of his shots. Here's Evans, and they commit an intentional foul. We'll see another one of those so they can get into the penalty.
Good foul there. They've got to lengthen this game and stop the clock here.
All you can really do here is hope they give you a chance to even it up.
They're going to prolong the game here with an intentional foul.
I know you have to foul, but you don't want to hit a good foul shooter like that.
Yeah, you'd much rather have somebody else get to the line than this guy. He's an excellent free throw shooter.
Good on the first, and that'll put him up by 2. Gets them both, and it's a 3-point ball game.
Taking full advantage of the charity stripe here. Stretching that margin to 3.
Minnesota calls timeout. They're behind by 3. 20 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Guys, your thoughts?
Well, they've got 2 options here. They can go for the 3 and the tie, or the quick 2 and the foul.
I like the idea of going for the quick 2. Take it to the rim, and that wouldn't be a bad way to approach this situation.
Here's Ridnour. The pass to Beasley. Goes up to the stripe. Good. And the assist goes to Ridnour.
That time he found the gap in the defense to turn that one into a very easy jump shot, a warm-up jumper, if you will.
And an intentional foul there stops the clock. The first, that'll put him up by 2. 2 for 2, and it's a 3-point ball game. Here's Ridnour.
Boy, a 3 here would be huge.
Yeah, a chance to tie it up and make it even with the game on the line.
Beasley dishes to Ridnour. So it's the Kings taking the win in this one. It was tight, but they managed to come up with the win.
You know, nobody wants to lose a close game, Kevin. It's much better to win those tight ones.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now we present the Jordan Player of the Game, DeMarcus Cousins.